What we're tying today is a Mikilak Sedge. I'm using rusty brown thread. I'm using a number 12 1X fine wire hook. I'm going to be using natural elk. This is a very effective dry fly. It's been very good to me over the years. Now, all the elk hair that we put on this fly is to create a silhouette for the wing. So we'll start with that. The body is going to be my brown thread. You have an option, you can dub the body with any color you like. The two colors I use for Mikilak Sedge is green and brown. And you have to be prepared for both when you go to lakes. Now, I'm going to cut a small clump of elk. I comb out the under hair. And then I stack it. It creates a nice wing silhouette by stacking it. Now, I'm going to run about 1/4 of an inch past the bend of the hook. I use the pinch method. I grab it and bring my thread down. Now don't let it go. Run your thread up about 1/8 of an inch and then run it back to the rear and tighten up, but don't let it go. This is where I take all the strands, excess strands, and I trim them off. Holding it again, I'm going to run the thread, making sure I cover the elk. Like I mentioned earlier, this is the body. I bring the thread back towards the rear. I'm going to put a wrap under the elk. There. That is not a tail. This, like I said earlier, this is going to represent the silhouette of the wing. Now for another clump. Comb out the under hair. Stack it. Now, this next clump goes halfway. The tips of this clump will be halfway from the tips here to this point, like so. Grab it and use the pinch method. Bring your thread up, and again, don't let it go, and run it about 1/8 of an inch or less, and then bring your thread back snugly. Like so. Again, we trim off the excess. Now, I'm going to run the thread up again. Covering all of the yolk. Take another clump. Same procedure. Halfway from the tip to your thread, and you use the pinch method. Don't let it go. Cut the ends off again. Grab it. Now you create the body. And as you can see, we're starting to taper off here towards the rear. From this point to this point is tapering off. We have one more clump to put on. Same method, halfway again, hold it, now we're going to run the thread all the way to the eye. Cover that, creating your body. Now you can see the taper. That's the silhouette of the wing when the fish is looking from the bottom, looking up. He's going to see that silhouette. I'm going to run the thread back to the front, grab the strands and go under the hair as if you were posting it. You can even do that twice if you like. and then run your thread back. Now, take your scissors, and I cut at an angle. Like so. Now I have taken 2 feathers and I have stripped the barbules from the feathers, like so. I'm going to use this for feelers. On a dry sedge, the feelers run forward. On a nymph, they run to the rear. At this point, I'm going to put the feelers on. One on each side. Like so. Take your scissors and trim that off. Trim for length. Now I've taken a brown hackle. It's brown with the center of it is black. I've taken and I've treated it by pulling the fibers down, and then I've cut into it on the end. Looks like a saw. That gives your thread something to grab, and it prevents it from pulling out when you wind it on. I'm going to put a half hitch on there, like so, because now I'm going to use my rotary vise. I'll use my hackle pliers. No, as a matter of fact, this on a long hackle you don't need the pliers. And I'll start winding this on. Get it nice and bushy. Now, I'm going to tie this off. I'll cut the bottom one off. Make sure you don't cut your thread yet. There. Trim that. I take my dubbing needle. Because this is a downturned die, I'll put in 5 or 6 half hitches. Like so. Trim that off. Now, all the hackle that's on this fly is only there to prevent the fly from tipping, falling over in the water. So therefore, you take and you trim all the hackle off the top. You only want hackle remaining on the sides. Okay. Be careful. Take your time. Now, by trimming it this way, it does two things. Gives the illusion of the head because of the center portion of the hackle was black. So now, as you can see, this portion here represents the head, the brown the body, the elk the silhouette of the wing, and the rest of the hackle is only used to keep the fly from falling over. So they're outriggers. Now, I have to tell you, without any exceptions whatsoever, that Mikilak Sedge tied in brown and in green like so, that green, as you can see right there, is without a doubt the best dry fly I own.